"Daddy!" The word burst from 6-year-old Blessing's lips the moment the tall man in the expensive suit approached their market stall. Her mother Joy dropped the serving spoon, hot jollof rice splattering across the wooden counter. "Blessing, stop that nonsense right now," Joy hissed, grabbing her daughter's arm. But Blessing pulled free, her small hands reaching toward the stranger who stood frozen, staring at the child with haunted eyes. Anthony Dike hadn't eaten a proper meal in 3 years. His doctors called it psychological anorexia. His business partners whispered about stress, but Anthony knew the truth. Food had lost all meaning since that terrible night 7 years ago. Yet here, in this crowded Lagos Island market, the aroma from this small stall had stopped him in his tracks. "Please, sir, I apologize for my daughter," Joy said quickly, not meeting his eyes. Something about this man felt familiar, dangerous even. She does this sometimes." "Your jollof rice," Anthony said quietly, his voice hoarse. "How much?" 5,000 naira per plate, Joy replied, lifting her chin despite the trembling in her hands. The other vendors had mocked her prices, but Blessing's food was special. Elder Frank, her late father, had made sure of that before he died. The surrounding crowd gasped. Even in Victoria Island, jollof rice didn't cost that much. But Anthony simply pulled out his wallet. "Daddy needs to eat," Blessing announced confidently, ladling rice into a plate with practiced ease. At 6 years old, she moved with the precision of a master chef, adding the perfect amount of fried plantain and her special pepper sauce. "Mama says I inherited Grandpa's gift, but I think I got it from you too." "Blessing!" Joy's face burned with embarrassment. Anthony took the plate with shaking hands. The first spoonful changed everything. Flavors exploded across his tongue, not just the perfectly seasoned rice, but something deeper. Memory, emotion, life itself. He ate like a starving man, tears streaming down his face. The crowd watched in stunned silence as the obviously wealthy man devoured every grain, then held out his plate for more. "See, Mama," Blessing said proudly, "I told you he was my daddy. Daddy was hungry, but now he's better." Joy's breath caught as Anthony looked up at her, really looked at her. Recognition dawned in his eyes, followed by something that looked like pain. 7 years ago," he whispered, "the Echo Hotel. But you disappeared." "We need to leave," Joy said sharply, starting to pack up their stall despite the line of customers. "Blessing, help me close up." "No," Anthony's voice carried the authority of a man used to being obeyed. "Please, I've been searching. I didn't know about—" His eyes moved to Blessing, who was watching him with that unnerving uncertainty. "You don't understand," Joy said, her voice breaking. "That night, I was drugged. Someone wanted to destroy my family's reputation, our restaurant legacy. When I woke up—" She couldn't finish. "Mama cries sometimes," Blessing offered helpfully. "She says bad people took Grandpa's restaurants, but I'm going to get them back when I grow up. That's why I cook, to make Grandpa proud." Anthony pulled out his phone, hands still trembling. "My car is outside. Please, both of you, come with me. There are tests we can do. If she's really—" "She's your daughter," Joy said quietly, all fight leaving her. "I've known since the day she was born, those eyes, that stubborn set of her jaw. But we've survived without you. We don't need—" A commotion erupted nearby. James Okoro pushed through the crowd, his expensive agbada swirling around him. Joy went rigid, pulling Blessing behind her. "Well, well," James sneered, "the mighty elder Frank's daughter selling food in the market like a common trader. How the mighty have fallen." "Uncle James is mean," Blessing announced. "He smells like the poison that killed Grandpa." The market fell silent. James Okoro's face twisted with rage. "You dare accuse me, you little brat?" "She's a child," Anthony stepped forward, positioning himself between James and the small family. "Whatever your issue is, you don't threaten children in my presence." James laughed, a cold sound that made vendors nearby pack up their goods. "And who are you to interfere? Another one of Joy's men? This family has no shame." "I'm Anthony Dike," he said quietly, and watched James's arrogance falter. Everyone knew Dike Industries. "And if this child is who I think she is, Then your problems just multiplied. Daddy's rich, Blessing piped up. Richer than you, Uncle James. That's why you look scared now. Joy grabbed her daughter's hand. We're leaving. Now. But James blocked their path. Running away again, Joy. Just like you ran 7 years ago. Your father would be so disappointed. Oh wait, he's dead. And his precious restaurants belong to me now. You killed him, Blessing shouted, her small voice carrying across the market. Grandpa told me in my dreams. He said you put bad things in his food for 1 whole year until his body gave up. He said you wanted to marry Mama, but she said no, so you killed him. The crowd gasped. Such accusations from a child carried weight in their community. Children didn't lie about dreams from the dead. James raised his hand as if to strike, but Anthony caught his wrist. Touch her and I'll destroy everything you've built on Elder Frank's legacy. 1 week, James snarled, yanking free. The National Culinary Championship. If this brat thinks she inherited Frank's talent, let her prove it. When she loses, Joy finally agrees to marry me, and you disappear forever. She's 6 years old, Joy protested. Age doesn't matter in the kitchen, James smirked. Your father taught me that. Or are you admitting she's just a fraud like her mother? I'll do it, Blessing announced, her chin raised high like her grandfather used to do. I'll cook circles around you, Uncle James. Then everyone will know you're a thief and a killer. Anthony knelt beside her. Blessing, you don't have to. Yes, I do, she interrupted, her small hand patting his cheek. Grandpa's spirit won't rest until our family name is clean. And Mama cries every night because she lost everything. I'm going to fix it. James laughed again. 1 week, little girl. Bring your best recipes. Oh wait, I have all of Elder Frank's recipes locked in my safe. You have nothing but market cooking. He swept away, leaving them in the buzzing crowd. Anthony immediately turned to Joy. Is it true? About your father? Joy nodded, tears flowing freely now. 6 years ago, Baba started getting sick. The doctors couldn't find anything wrong. James was his most trusted apprentice, like a son to him. We never suspected. By the time we realized it was too late. James had already positioned himself to take over everything. We need proof, Anthony said. DNA tests first, to establish Blessing's parentage legally. Then we can... I don't want your money, Joy snapped. We've survived this long without... Mama, Blessing interrupted softly. Daddy's not offering money. He's offering family. The truth of it hung between them. Anthony cleared his throat. My car is outside. Please, let me at least drive you home. We can talk about everything. 3 hours later, in Anthony's Victoria Island office, a doctor drew blood from Blessing's arm. She didn't even flinch, too busy studying the marble floors and expensive artwork. Results in 48 hours, the doctor said, packing up. Though if I may say, the resemblance is already quite clear. When he left, Anthony sat across from Joy and Blessing. Tell me about that night. Everything you remember. Joy's hands shook as she spoke. There was a party for young entrepreneurs. I was there representing Baba's restaurants. Someone kept refilling my drink. The next thing I knew, she glanced at Blessing, who was pretending to play with a paperweight while obviously listening. I woke up in a hotel room, alone. There was only a note and a jade necklace. Anthony's sharp intake of breath made them both look up. He reached into his desk drawer, pulling out an identical jade necklace. My grandmother's, he whispered. I gave it to... I thought you were... We talked all night about family, about legacy, about dreams. Then someone drugged my drink too. When I woke up, you were gone. I've been searching... A knock interrupted. His assistant entered, pale-faced. Sir, James Okoro is downstairs with lawyers. He says he's filing charges against you for assault and threats. Send them up, Anthony said calmly, though his jaw tightened. And call my legal team. Joy stood quickly. We should go. This isn't your fight. Sit down, Anthony said gently. He threatened my daughter. That makes it my fight. Blessing looked between them, her young face serious. Daddy, are you sure I'm your daughter? The test isn't done yet. Anthony knelt before her. Sometimes, Blessing, you know things in your heart before science confirms them. The moment you called me Daddy, something inside me recognized you. The door burst open. James strutted in with two lawyers, his arrogance filling the room like cheap cologne. Assault charges, threatening behavior, disrupting my business interests. You've made a serious mistake, Dike. The only mistake here is yours. Anthony stood, towering over James. Threatening a child in public. Dozens of witnesses saw you raise your hand to strike her. My lawyers say otherwise, James smirked. But I'm willing to be reasonable. Drop this DNA test nonsense, stay away from Joy and the brat, and I'll withdraw the charges. Her name is Blessing, Joy said quietly, her voice carrying steel, and she's worth more than all your stolen restaurants combined. James turned on her. Stolen? I earned those restaurants. I worked beside your father for 20 years while you ran around playing modern woman. I deserved to inherit. So you killed him for it. Blessing interrupted, her child's voice cutting through his rant. Grandpa visited my dreams again last night. He said the poison was in his special tea, the one only you knew how to make. He said you added it drop by drop every morning, pretending to care. The lawyers shifted uncomfortably. In Nigerian culture, children's dreams about the dead carried spiritual weight that even modern law couldn't entirely dismiss. James's face contorted. Shut up, you lying little. He also said you drugged Mama that night, Blessing continued, tears streaming down her small face. You wanted to ruin her so Grandpa would have no choice but to give you everything. But you didn't know about Daddy. You didn't know I would come from that night. Enough. James slammed his hand on the desk. 1 week, little girl. When you lose the championship, your mother honors the marriage arrangement her father and I discussed. That was always the plan before she disgraced herself. There was never any arrangement, Joy protested. Baba would never. Your father promised me everything, James snarled. His recipes, his restaurants, his daughter. I was the son he never had. Until you poisoned his mind against me. Anthony's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, then smiled coldly. Interesting. My security team just sent footage from 7 years ago. The Echo Hotel. Cameras showing you, James, following Joy at that entrepreneurship party. Would you like to see what else they found? James went pale. That proves nothing. Maybe not in court, Anthony agreed, but in the court of public opinion. A respected elder's apprentice stalking his daughter. The same apprentice who inherited everything after the elder's mysterious illness. The media would feast on this story. You wouldn't dare. The scandal would hurt Joy too. Mama doesn't care about scandal, Blessing said firmly. She cares about truth. And so do I. That's why I'm going to beat you in the championship. I'm going to cook Grandpa's recipes better than you ever could. James laughed, confidence returning. Impossible. I have the only copies of Elder Frank's secret recipes. 20 years of innovations, techniques you've never seen. What will you cook, little girl? Market jollof rice. I have this. Blessing reached into her small bag, pulling out a worn notebook. Grandpa's first recipe book. From before you came, from when he taught Mama as a little girl. Joy gasped. Blessing, where did you… He told me where to find it, Blessing said simply. In my dreams. Behind the loose brick in our old kitchen, the one Uncle James didn't know about. James lunged for the notebook, but Anthony blocked him. Security will escort you out now. See you at the championship. As James was forcefully removed, still threatening lawsuits, Blessing opened the notebook. Her small fingers traced her grandfather's handwriting. Mama, look, he wrote something for me. For my unborn grandchild. May you carry our flavors into the future. Joy sobbed, holding her daughter close. Anthony watched them, his heart breaking and healing simultaneously. His phone buzzed again. The DNA lab. Impossible. Results don't come this fast. He answered, listened, then dropped the phone. His face had gone ashen. What is it? Joy asked, alarmed. The preliminary results, Anthony whispered. Blessing isn't just my daughter. She's my brother's daughter. My twin brother died 7 years ago in a car accident. The night of that party, he borrowed my invitation, my jade necklace. He went to my place because I was sick. The National Theatre complex buzzed with anticipation. Nigeria's most prestigious chefs had gathered for the championship, but all eyes were on the 6-year-old girl in a crisp white apron standing beside her mother. She's so small, someone whispered. Can she even reach the cooking station? Anthony had arranged everything, a custom platform for Blessing to stand on, child-sized utensils that fit her hands, and the best ingredients money could buy. But Blessing had insisted on one thing, wearing her grandfather's old chef's hat, though it kept sliding over her eyes. "Remember," Joy whispered, adjusting the hat again, "cook from your heart, not your head." That's what Baba always said. Across the grand kitchen, James Okoro stood with his team, confidence radiating from every pore. He'd brought his collection of awards, displaying them prominently. The message was clear: experience would crush innocence today. "Welcome, chefs and guests," the head judge announced. "Today's final challenge honors the late Elder Frank, master chef and mentor to many. Contestants must prepare a 5-course meal using only traditional recipes, to be served to our panel of 7 judges." Anthony watched from the VIP section, his hands clenched. The DNA test had confirmed everything. Blessing was his late twin brother's child, his niece, not his daughter. But it didn't matter. The moment she'd called him daddy, his heart had claimed her. "Begin." James moved like a machine, efficient and practiced. His assistant scrambled to keep up as he barked orders, preparing multiple dishes simultaneously. 20 years of experience showed in every movement. But Blessing moved like she was dancing. She hummed her grandfather's favorite song as she worked, her small hands steady and sure. No assistants, just her and the ingredients, having a conversation only she could hear. "She's making banga soup," someone gasped. "That's incredibly complex for a child." Joy gripped Anthony's hand as they watched. "That was the first soup Baba taught me. She's never made it before. How does she know?" For the first hour, James dominated. His dishes came together with military precision, perfect presentations, classical techniques, the accumulated wisdom of decades. Then Blessing did something unexpected. She stopped cooking and walked over to James's station. "Uncle James," she said loudly enough for everyone to hear. "Why did you stop using love?" "Get back to your station, brat," James hissed. "Grandpa said you used to cook with love, before you became angry, before you wanted things that weren't yours." Her voice carried across the silent room. "He said that's why your food tastes like sadness now." James's hands shook as he plated his 3rd course. "Shut up." "He forgives you," Blessing continued, tears rolling down her cheeks. "He told me to tell you, he forgives you for the poison, but he's sad you poisoned yourself with hate." "Lies!" James roared, throwing his ladle. It clattered across the floor as security moved in. "Elder Frank promised me everything. I deserved it. I earned it." "You earned his love," Blessing said softly. "Wasn't that enough?" James crumbled, sobbing. 20 years of bitterness poured out as he confessed everything. The slow poison, the drugged drinks, the forged documents. The judges called for police, but Blessing raised her small hand. "Wait," she said. "Let us finish cooking first. This is still Grandpa's memorial." The room held its breath as both chefs returned to their stations. But something had broken in James. His hand shook. His precision faltered. The food that emerged looked perfect but tasted hollow. Blessing's dishes told a different story. Each plate carried memory, love, and hope. The judges wept as they ate, tasting not just food, but the entire history of a family's pain and redemption. When the last plate was served, Blessing walked to James. "Uncle, taste this." She held out a small bowl of pepper soup. "I made it the way Grandpa taught you first, before you forgot to add love." James tasted it and broke completely. The police led him away gently, a broken man, finally facing his demons. The head judge stood, tears streaming. "In my 40 years of judging, I've never seen such courage. Blessing Ike, you've won more than a championship today. You've restored honor to your grandfather's legacy." The crowd erupted, but Blessing only had eyes for her parents. She ran to them, chef's hat finally falling off. "Did I do good, Daddy? Mama, did Grandpa see?" Anthony scooped her up, holding her tight. "You did perfect, my daughter." Because that's what she was. Not by blood alone, but by choice, by love, by the ineffable bonds that make a family. Joy wrapped her arms around them both, her father's restaurant suddenly meaningless compared to this moment. They had each other, Everything else would follow. The cameras flashed, capturing the moment when a 6-year-old chef brought down a corrupt empire with nothing but truth and pepper soup. 6 months later, the renovated Elder Frank's kitchen stood proudly in the heart of Lagos, its doors open to the aroma of traditional dishes and the sound of laughter. The sign above the entrance bore a new addition, "Where love seasons every meal." Blessing stood on her custom platform in the kitchen, teaching a cooking class to other children. Her chef's hat, a new one that actually fit, bobbed as she demonstrated how to properly season ogbono soup. "Remember," she told her young students, "cooking isn't about following recipes perfectly, it's about putting your heart in the pot. That's what my grandpa taught me." Joy watched from the doorway, her eyes bright with tears of joy rather than sorrow. The restaurants had been returned after James's confession and subsequent conviction. But more than property had been restored, her father's true legacy lived on in Blessing's gifted hands and generous heart. "She's a natural teacher," Anthony said, joining her. He'd taken to spending most evenings at the restaurant, claiming he needed to oversee operations, but really just wanting to be near his family. "Just like Baba," Joy smiled. "He always said the best chefs share their knowledge freely." Anthony cleared his throat. "Speaking of sharing, I've been thinking about what Blessing said 6 months ago, about family." Joy turned to face him fully. They'd grown close over the months, co-parenting Blessing, rebuilding the business, healing old wounds, but neither had dared speak about the feelings growing between them. "My brother would have loved you both," Anthony continued. "He was always the romantic one, the one who believed in destiny. That night, I think he went to that party because he was meant to, because Blessing was meant to exist." "Anthony," Joy's voice caught, "I know I'm not her biological father, but I love her as if she were my own. And I love—" He paused, gathering courage. "I love her mother too. Not because of the past or circumstances, but because of who you are. Your strength, your dignity, your—" "Yes," Joy interrupted, laughing through her tears. "Whatever you're about to ask, yes." From the kitchen, Blessing's voice rang out. "Finally! Daddy's been carrying that ring around for 2 months." The entire restaurant burst into laughter. Of course, Blessing knew. She seemed to know everything that mattered. That evening, as the last customers left, the family of 3 sat together in the dining room. Blessing had made a special meal. Not the elaborate dishes that won championships, but simple comfort food that tasted like home. "I've been thinking," Blessing announced, cutting into her moi-moi. "Uncle James sent a letter from prison. He wants to apologize properly." Joy stiffened, but Anthony placed a calming hand over hers. "He said Grandpa visited him in a dream too," Blessing continued. "Told him that hatred was the real poison. He wants to know if maybe one day I could teach him to cook with love again." "Baby, you don't owe him anything," Joy said firmly. "I know," Blessing nodded. "But Grandpa always said the best revenge is a life well lived, and the best seasoning for life is forgiveness." Anthony marveled at the wisdom in such a young soul. "What do you want to do? Maybe when I'm older," Blessing decided. "When he's served his time and learned his lessons, everyone deserves a second chance to add love to their recipe." A comfortable silence fell over them, broken only by the distant sounds of Lagos nightlife. This restaurant, this moment, this family forged from pain and redeemed by love. It was more than any of them had dared dream. "Daddy," Blessing asked suddenly, "do you think your brother knows? About us becoming a family?" Anthony pulled her close, breathing in the scent of spices that always clung to her clothes. "I think he knew from the beginning. I think that's why he gave your mother the jade necklace. It wasn't just a gift. It was a promise that someone would come looking, that you'd never be alone." "We're not alone," Blessing said contentedly. "We have each other, and Grandpa's recipes, and a restaurant full of love. What else do we need?" Joy and Anthony exchanged glances over her head, seeing their future in each other's eyes. Marriage, maybe more children, definitely more restaurants spreading Elder Frank's philosophy of cooking with love. But all of that could wait. Right now, they had this: a little girl who called down truth like lightning, a mother who survived betrayal with grace intact, and a father by choice who proved family isn't only about blood. "Nothing," Joy answered, meaning it completely. We need absolutely nothing else. Outside, Lagos hummed with its eternal energy. But inside Elder Frank's kitchen, 3 hearts beat as one, seasoned with love and served with the perfect amount of hope. Blessing was right, as always. The best recipes weren't written in books. They were carved in hearts, passed through dreams, and served best when shared with family. The small chop miracle was complete. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment at the comment section below.